Hi, this is Michel Comte again. Today I would like to talk to you about photography and art, or art and photography. For many years, I was always asked, are you an artist or are you a photographer? I always answered, photography is not an art, it's an art form. Because it's instant. Well, maybe the last 20 years, things started changing. There is the art of photography, and photography as an art form, and the shift and the line between contemporary art and contemporary photography. Well, I have an example here of a glacial wall I photographed in the Bernese Mountains and the painting of Gerhard Richter, but also of an installation, one of my very first major contemporary art installation at the Maxim Museum of Modern Art 2 years ago. It's called the Light Project. But the reason why I talk to you about this, it's don't limit yourself if you take pictures, because everything is a point of view. Your picture can become an artwork. Artwork can become a photograph, but the line is shifting more and more. Today I talk about Gerhard Richter, who is an incredible inspiration to me, and there are some similarities in our approach, and I just noticed this when I opened this book. Another quote we always hear, or we always say, nothing is new under the sun. So remember, when you do something, or if you think you're doing something new, or you try, don't even try, just do what you believe in, because maybe 500 people have done the same thing. And if you're interested in social media or your Instagram, if you think you created a great artwork, probably you find 10 people in 10 minutes that did exactly what you did. Don't stop, keep doing what you're doing. The secret is consistency and the story you have to tell. So, in my case, I started taking photographs of glaciers or bodies of ice about 35, 40 years ago. The reason why I started this because my grandfather, Alfred Comte, actually the first aviator across the Alps, and his partner took the photographs. His name was Mittelholzer, of all the glaciers. So when I was growing up, in my parents' and my grandparents' house, we had photographs of glaciers. When I was young, I always had my cameras in the mountains. I was an avid climber. Since I was very, very young, I was an extreme climber until an accident took a life of one of my best friends. So I toned it down and I just kept climbing. But I took photographs of all the glaciers. Over the years, this became an enormous body of work. And this body of work, as we go on, became more abstract as time went on. Before it was a picture of a mountain, a lake, but as time went on it became structures, pieces of glaciers, fragments of glaciers, fragments of stones, and after a while they became abstract bodies. Now, this is not that your photography or your artwork has to be abstract, but it says your story has to be right. The story that you do has to be consistent. There's an amazing photographer called Nan Goldin. Nan Goldin has been taking photographs of her friends at parties, in her house, and she has been an incredible chronicle of the 80s and 70s. Her photographs are disturbing. They're so close, they're so incredible, intimate. So if you look at Nan Goldin's work, if you buy her books, you feel so close to the subject, just the way I feel close to my glaciers. So it's a consistency, it's the story. If you approach something, repetition or consistency is the key. When you start a project, it has to be ongoing. Keep doing it. Incidentally, a young assistant of mine, her name is Francine Fleischer, she was with me for maybe 15 years. And as you probably know, my publisher is Gerhard Richter. I saw her photographs in New York, and the subject was extraordinary. They were floating bodies in a deep body of water in Mexico. The pictures were so incredibly powerful and disturbing and totally abstract and realistic. So I invited her to come to Steidl, invited her for lunch. Just to make a backstory, nobody has lunch at Steidl unless you know him very well. Steidl comes up, we all sit around the lunch table, and she sat, incidentally, right next to Gerhard. He looks at me and said, "Who is this?" Well, it's a young assistant of mine, but I think she's really good. Look at her pictures. He opened the box, closed the box. Let's make books together. The reason why I tell you, it's not the name, it's not the subject, it is the consistency, it is the story. My assistant has gone for maybe 10 years to the same place, took the same picture for years and years and years of different people in the same place. I don't know if these photographs are contemporary art, like Gerhard Richter's scapes, or my glaciers, or pictures of Tilman Borg, or taking surfaces of cars. The fact is, in whatever you do, it's consistency and the story you have to tell. Your story has to be right, your story has to be real, and your story has to be true, because everybody will find out if you bluff them. But if you make an effort, you keep going to the same place, you search for the same picture, or you take 1,000 pictures of the same subject in different places, and the story is the same, then you're going to be super successful, and people take notice of you. So don't get discouraged. Don't think about making art. Don't think about the line between contemporary art and photography. It's the viewer that will decide in the end in which category he wants to put you. Keep doing what you're doing. In the middle of your career, maybe there will be transition. This is where I am right now. Thank you very much. We see you tomorrow.